Before every contact you have with your prospect, before you make the phone call, before you have the meeting, just click on the qualification tab and have a look at the current state of play regarding your answers to the various qualification questions. If you're using ProspectSafari, you're a relatively new user, you're probably looking at the BANT qualification questions. Those are loaded as standard within ProspectSafari. It's suitable for most simple transactions. We have other sets of qualification questions like medic, Scotsman, fact. But the idea is that you should input your own custom questions which are specific to your business. What's important is that you look at the questions regularly before every contact, and you answer the questions or you change the answers to the questions after every contact. This is a record of exactly what you know, and more to the point, what you don't yet know about this prospect, about this deal. The fact that you don't know these things is not unimportant, right? It's telling you, hey, you need to find out a little bit more about this. Otherwise, there's a good chance this deal is going nowhere. All right. So use it as a guide to remind you about what you haven't yet found out about your customer. These are not questions to ask your customer, at least not directly. They're questions for you to answer for yourself after having spoke to the customer. So find a way to move the conversation around it. Don't just ask them point blank. But you need to find the information. And you will find very, very quickly that the more you do this, the higher your win rate is, or equally importantly, the quicker you are at qualifying out opportunities that you shouldn't be wasting your time on. As you progress through the sales process, at the latter stages of the sales process, the negotiation stage, there's only two ways out. Either this deal will be won or it will be lost. Depending on whether it's won or lost, ProspectSafari takes the answers of your questions and recalculates the weighting of each and every one of those questions. So it's looking at the historic record of how well you've done, what your question answers were when you won, and conversely when you lost. It's giving them weighting. Some of these questions are more important than others. Some of them you personally tend to be more pessimistic or optimistic about. ProspectSafari takes that all in the calculation and gives new weightings for the questions. Consequently, every time a deal is progressing, every time you answer any of these questions, ProspectSafari recalculates the probability of you winning this deal, and it's a pretty accurate calculation. You'll see the probability written there in the deal card. Also, the confidence with which that probability is calculated. That's simply a reflection of how many questions you have not yet answered, how many are open-ended. You've answered maybe to them, perhaps. So you need to get the probability high and the confidence high in order to be able to say, yeah, this one's going to win. I can forecast this deal is coming in at the end of the month, end of the quarter, or whatever. All right. So before every contact, and certainly after every contact, click on the Qualify tab and look at those questions. Use them to, before a contact, to understand what you should be talking about, and fill in the questions after having had the conversation. Crucially important, and will make the difference it will increase your win rate, frankly, no matter how good you are or you believe you are in selling, no matter how experienced you are. Looking at those questions will be time well spent, and answering them is essential for you to monitor the progress of going through this deal. So just make it an absolute habit every time to click on that tab regularly and answer the questions. Good luck.